Okay. Parashat Pinchas is a very boring parsha, most of it, because the first half has a very long list of the counting of Nesel again for the second or third time already in Sefer Bamidbar, yeah, in Parshat Bamidbar, once if not twice, and then again the beginning of Naso gave us a long list of what the Levim did. Then again now in Parshat Pinchas we have a long list of the count after the sin of Chet Baal Peor, and that is the first part, which is relatively boring because it's a long list of names and numbers. Then towards the end of the parasha, in each of the different different chagim, long list of animals that were sacrificed. No real exciting story. There's one or two exciting stories, which maybe we'll talk in a different time. But what's interesting is that according to a very famous sefer called Ein Yaakov, which is the first explanation or first perush that we have about the Agadatot in the Gemara. So he says that the most important, he quotes a midrash that says that the most important pasuk in all of Tanakh is in our parsha, which is weird because we would assume that the most important pasuk in all of the Torah would be Shema Yisrael or Ve'afta Kamocha. I'll read it inside. Source number one. So he talks about how important davening is. Hatfilah kruya avodah shebalev. Davening is called avodah shebalev, worship or service within the heart, because it says Lovdo b'chol levavchem. I found this midrash, but I don't remember exactly where I found it. But this is what the Medrash says, the third line. Ben Zoma Omer Matinu pasuk kolel yoter v'hu Shema Yisrael. Most important pasuk, Shema Yisrael. Ben Anas Omer ve'ahavta l'reacha kamocha. Again, those two psukim make sense, right? One is talking about Ben Adam l'chavero, one is Ben Adam l'makom. But then Shimon ben Pazi Omer Matinu pasuk kolel yoter v'hu et hakevus echad aseh baboker. And the continuous v'takevus hashin taseh ben habayim. I brought it here in source 2. The psukim that are mentioned in the korban that we offer every day, korban tamid, which is offered twice a day. Takevus echad taseh baboker v'takevus hashin taseh ben habayim. These two korbanot. So this pasuk is the most important pasuk in all of the Torah. And the midrash ends with saying halacha keben pazi. You know what? You're right. This is how we paskin, that this is the most important pasuk. What is so exciting about this pasuk? What is so important about this pasuk? It's a relatively boring, very detailed pasuk about how to take the two lambs and to offer them. Not exactly a very interesting or exciting or uplifting or spiritually pasuk. So why is that so important? Rav Amital, the Rosh Hashiva of Gush, Zichron Levacha, which actually this coming up week is his yahrzeit. So he liked to say how the reason this is the most important pasuk, the reason is because it talks about the importance of doing something consistently with the same excitement every time, even though it's repetitive. In other words, every day, 365 days a year, you offer the same korban. Even in Yom Kippur, first was korban tamid. Yom Kippur, nobody comes for, maybe the rabbi will say I'm wrong, but for what I remember, for my years in shul, not only in kids, in any shul, not everybody's there on time for Birkot HaShachar, even in Yom Kippur in the morning. Nila, everybody's there on time. Kol Nidre, everybody is there on time. For Psukkah Dezima Yom Kippur morning, okay, I'm going to be there until 1 o'clock anyways. If I come at 9:15, nothing's going to happen. No, but the importance here, and the reason why this pasuk is so important, is because the Kohanim offered these korbanot every morning, every day, no difference Yom Kippur or random day in the middle of Tammuz, because this is our daily connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And even though in different days we offer more korbanot, which we'll get to in a second, the tamid, the everyday continuous offering that we do every day, even though it seems to be the most mundane or most boring, every day the same thing. No, that's what's important, because that's what connects us daily. And what's interesting is that this midrash, when he quotes this, is talking about tefillah today. Nowadays, tefillah is obviously not as exciting or as uplifting or as you feel as close as you could be with Hakadosh Baruch Hu, because you're not in the Beit Hamikdash. You're not in a place where you know Hashem's presence is there all the time. But still, avodah shebalev, that we have the opportunity to do 3 times a day, is just as important as it is to offer the korbanot, like it was in the time of the Beit Hamikdash. The reason I bring this, besides the point that this pasuk is mentioned in this week's parasha, yesterday was Yudayim B'Tammuz. Shivasar B'Tammuz, as we know, the Mishnah says here in source 3, that 5 things happened to us on the Shivasar B'Tammuz, 5 things in Tisha B'Av. The 5 things that happened in Shivasar B'Tammuz, Nishtabru Luchot, the Luchot were broken, Chet HaEgel, famously, Uvutal HaTamid. Korban HaTamid was canceled on Shivasar B'Tammuz. The other 3 things are more famous. The walls were breached, apostles burnt the Torah, and there was a avodah zarah in the Beit Hamikdash. Obviously, all those things are what we usually mention, because we know that Yudayim B'Tammuz start the 3 weeks, starts the time of when we remember the destruction of the Beit Hamikdash, and that's where we usually focus our attention. But Butal HaTamid, that the offerings were canceled, is not something that we can relate to, because we don't really understand what it means, or how excited it could have been or should have been, or we should how much we're looking forward for that to be coming back. The Sfat Emet says in source 4 that the reason we read Parashat Pinchas Dafka this week, before or during Yudzayin B'Tammuz, during the 3 weeks, is that Kav'u Chazal Kriyat Parashat Midim V'Musafim. Chazal made sure that we always read Parashat Pinchas. Maybe that's why you finally caught up with us last week, to make sure that Parashat Pinchas would be, that you would also read it during the 3 weeks. To awaken our hearts, to yearn and to look forward to the service in Beit HaMikdash. And therefore, Gama Kriyah Shabbat Kodesh, and also the reading, the laning on Shabbat, it should be as important in front of Him, in front of Hashem, as if we offer these korbanot. Really, yesterday, when we mourned the beginning of the destruction of Beit HaMikdash, we also mourned the fact that we lost the daily connection with HaKadosh Baruch Hu through the korbanot. And part of what we are looking forward to in the rebuilding of the Beit HaMikdash is that avodah will return. Not only just that Beit HaMikdash will be rebuilt, but also specifically the avodat HaKorbanot, because there we have the opportunity to really connect to Hashem in such a way where you could feel His presence much more than even the most uplifting tefillah that we could have in our shows. That is the first idea I wanted to share with you this morning, or this afternoon. The second idea is that we have, as I said, the very long list of korbanot that we mentioned. These korbanot musafim, musaf added on. We add another tefillah, or nowadays, or we add another korban, another offering. But there are we know. Usually, we mention the fact, or we are aware of the fact, that there are different kinds of korbanot: korban olah, korban chatat, korban asham, korban mincha, korban shlamim. The different kinds of korbanot. Some are offered totally. Who offers them gets to eat them. He could eat them only inside the Beit HaMikdash, in the Azara, or sometimes in Yerushalayim. But what we don't notice all the time is that there are 4 different animals that are offered on the Mizbeach. So I brought here in source 5 an example, because it was the one that it was the most condensed psukim, one next to each other. It was the easiest to bring them here. But it's an example of what we offer on the 7th day of Sukkot, what we call nowadays Hoshana Rabbah. Uvayom HaShvei Parim Shiva, 7 bulls. Elim Shnaim, I forgot what Elim are called. Rams. Kvasim B'nei Shana Arba Asar Tamim, and there's sheep, 14. Uminchatam Yiskem LaParim Elim VeLaKvasim B'misparam K'mishpatam. We bring also Mincha and also an Esech. Useir Chatat Echad as well. A Seir is a sheep, if I recall correctly, or a lamb. So why do we have these 4 different? Why does it have to be also a bull and also a ram and also sheep and also tzeirim. What is it that we get? Why can't we just give bulls or rams or sheep or lamb? Why do we have to bring the different animals? What are we gaining from giving the different kinds of animals? So Rabbi Menachem Libtag, one of the rebbeim in Yeshivat Har Etzion, so I heard this idea from him many years ago. It's a fascinating idea, which the first time I heard it, I was surprised. I never noticed it before. But his approach was that these different animals remind us of 4 different events, important events that happened to us in Jewish history. And then when we add these korbanot on the Chagim, when we do Musaf, we add these korbanot during the times of the Chagim. Even on Shabbat, we don't add these, but already Rosh Chodesh, and definitely on Rosh Hashanah, and Yom Kippur, and Sukkot, Shavuot, and Pesach, and Shmini Atzeret, we add these korbanot, and these are to remind us specifically on these important days, on these days where we add connection, and we add to the relationship that we have between us and HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we remind of these events. The first one, I'll go according to the order. The first one was the bulls, and the first time bulls are offered as a offering to Hashem is in one of probably the most important events to happen in Jewish history, was Ma'amad Har Sinai. The end of Parshat Mishpatim, we go back to Ma'amad Har Sinai, and there Moshe, Hashem tells Moshe to go back up to Har Sinai. Just to give us a quick reminder, Moshe Rabbeinu goes up on the 6th day of Sivan. There's what we call Ma'amad Har Sinai. The 10 commandments are given then. He goes back down. This event happens then, and then Pasuk Gimel, Vayavo Moshe vayseper la'am et kol divrei Hashem. Moshe tells Bnei Israel all of what Hashem commanded. Vayan kol ha'am, they all said, Kol asher diber Hashem na'aseh. Everything Hashem said, we will do. Then Moshe writes all these things. He writes the 10 commandments. He builds a mizbeach with 12 rocks, 12 matzevot, 12 shitei Yisrael for the 12 tribes. And then Vayishlach et na'arei Bnei Israel, and he sends the youth, Vaya'alu olot, vayizbechu zvachim shlamim laHashem harim. They offer bulls. And then Moshe does, he takes the blood and he throws them in these aganot, and it's what's referred to usually in Chazal as Brit HaAganot. And then he takes the book, Sefer HaBrit, the book of the covenant, and he reads it in front of the people, and they say Na'aseh v'nishma. Then he goes back up, and then he gets then he goes back up for 40 days, and there he gets the rest, Luchot ha'even, v'atorah, v'amitzvah, asher katabti le'orotam. Then Moshe gets all the different mitzvot, also of Parshat Mishpatim. There's a whole discussion why it's divided here in the middle. Maybe we can talk about that when we come to Parshat Mishpatim. But in this specific case, what basically we see from here is that when we remind ourselves of the on the Chagim, the first thing we want to remind ourselves or remind Hashem is in the added offerings that we offer is Ma'amad Har Sinai. The second thing is the rams. The rams remind us of Ma'amad HaAkedah. When the Akedah happens, Avraham Avinu, as we know, goes to Eretz Moriah, which at the end is where Beit HaMikdash was built, and there he is supposed to offer Yitzchak as an offering. But then in Pasuk Yudbet, Hashem tells, or the Malach comes to him and says, Al tishlach yadecha lanar, don't offer him, don't sacrifice him, don't do anything to him, because now I know that you are aware of it, you have Yirat Hashem, and I don't want you to do it. And then Abraham says, okay, well, I already built the Mizbeach, so vayar v'hinei lacham nechaz basvach v'kernav. He finds the ram that is stuck with his horns, and that is why we blow a shofar on Rosh Hashanah, and that is why we remind ourselves also by offering rams that the Mesirut Nefesh that Abraham had in worshiping Hashem, the Mesirut Nefesh that Yitzchak had, that he was willing to be sacrificed. He knew what was going to happen, and he was still willing to go with Avraham Avinu. And these two things, accepting the Torah and the Mesirut Nefesh we had towards Avodat Hashem, are the first two things we want to show Hashem during Chagim when we offer more offerings. The sheep in or the lambs that we offer, the kvasim that we do every day is very interesting. Those are mentioned in the brit that Abraham does with Avimelech. After Avimelech and Abraham already basically were in a bad place because Avimelech took Sarah and he wanted to take her as a wife, and Hashem punished him. And afterward, Avimelech understands who Avraham Avinu is and why it's a good thing to do business with him. So they build a covenant by Chetush Nehem Brit. And then Abraham takes Sheva kibsot levadim. He takes 7 different lambs and they do a brit. And that Rabbi Litak wanted to offer is that when we offer on the mizbeach in front of Hashem, we do it not only as Bnei Israel but also as representatives of humankind in front of Hashem. When we basically connect to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when we serve HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we do it as the chosen nation, but not just for us, but really as a representatives of all of the world. When we go and we offer more kvasim, we remind Hashem, or we tell Hashem, listen, we're doing it because we want to have a good connection, or we want to have a relationship with you, Hashem. But really, we want everybody to be with us. We mentioned that also on the Tefillot on Rosh Hashanah, that Kol Bayei Olam Ya'avru Lefanecha Kivnei Meron. All of the world has this connection and relationship with Hashem, and really, this leads to that also only after Avraham Avinu has this relationship with Hashem, with Avimelech, Gimel can he say Vayikra Sham B'Shem Hashem El Olam. Only then can Avraham Avinu call in Hashem's name the God of the world. He calls already B'Shem Hashem many times before. Already at the beginning of Parshat Lech Lecha, when he built his first Mizbeach in Elon Moreh by Shechem, he already does that there. But only after he has the relationship with Avimelech can he go out and say that he is calling out in Hashem's name El Olam, to all of the world. And this is also what we are trying to do when we offer the kvasim. We say it, yes, we're doing it for us. We're calling B'Shem Hashem because we believe in that, but also we're doing it as the God of the world, that we are here as representing the entire world, doing that in front of everyone. And that's why on Sukkot we offer more, because Sukkot is the holiday for all of the world to connect with us. The last one is the Seir. The Seir is is basically the first cover. It's not the first; it's the second cover up that we see in the Torah. The first one is Cain and Hevel, but the second one is when the brothers sell Yosef to the Ishmaelim, but they really didn't notice that. We could talk about that also in Parashat Vayishlach, in Parashat Vayeshev, when it talks about how the brothers send off Yosef. There's a whole discussion. Did the brothers really realize what they were doing or not? Did they plan to do something and something else happened? At the end of the day, the Ishmaelim have him, they take him, and when they come back and they realize that Yosef is not there, they say, okay, we have to do something. Pasuk Lamed Aleph, Vayikchu et Ketonet Yosef, they take Yosef's special clothing. Vayishchatu Seirizim, they shecht a Seirizim, which is the same thing we shecht on Yom Kippur. Vayitbelu et Ketonet Badam, they put the shirt in the blood, and then they send it to Yaakov Avinu and say, hey, you see, this is what happened. An animal ate him up. It's they don't say anything about them or anything about being sold or anything like that. And we on Yom Kippur, the holiest day of the year, we also, when we ask Hashem for forgiveness, we shechte seirizim, because even though we did tshuva to ourselves, or we did tshuva by ourselves and in front of Hashem, we still have to remember that the worst sin that we've ever done is a sinat chinam that was between the brothers, and we remind that on Yom Kippur. And every korban chatat that is offered is always a seir chatat that is offered, because the one thing that forgiven for is that event. So basically, these 4 things, reminding us of Ma'amad Har Sinai, reminding us of the Akedah, reminding us of the connection between the goyim around us in a positive way of how we could affect them and bring the entire world to a better place by making sure, obviously, that we have to be in a strong and good relationship between us, all of us, all of the tribes of Bnei Israel. That is, those korbanot are what we add during the special days of the Chagim, which again, yesterday we mourned the fact that we lost that event, and hopefully during these 3 weeks, when we reflect on the fact that we are missing the Beit HaMikdash, that we are yearning to rebuild, we will hopefully be zocheh to that. We will be able to renew our relationship with Hashem, not only through the tefillot, but also by worshiping Him in the Beit HaMikdash, where His presence is much more felt, also for us and also for everyone else. And by the rebuilding of the Beit HaMikdash, we will strengthen our connection with Him. Shabbat Shalom. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and hopefully good things to happen in the future.
Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.